On October 31, 2025, the United States Supreme Court delivered a unanimous 9-0 ruling that sent shockwaves across the country. The decision, announced on a crisp autumn morning, was met with both celebration and disbelief as legal experts and citizens alike tried to grasp its full impact. With this historic verdict, the court fundamentally altered the landscape of American gun rights, setting a new precedent that will be debated for years to come. In a rare and powerful show of unity, all 9 justices agreed to strike down a long-standing federal law that had barred gun ownership for individuals who use marijuana, whether for medical or recreational purposes. This sweeping decision overturned decades of legal precedent and signaled a dramatic shift in the court's approach to the intersection of gun rights and federal regulation. The ruling directly challenges the federal government's authority to restrict Second Amendment rights based on lifestyle choices or personal conduct that is not rooted in the nation's historical traditions. The justices emphasized that constitutional rights cannot be curtailed simply because of evolving social norms or contemporary policy preferences. Legal scholars are already comparing the significance of this decision to the landmark Bruen ruling of 2022, which required that any modern gun laws must be consistent with the historical understanding of firearm regulations in America. Like Bruen, this new ruling reaffirms the importance of historical context in interpreting the Second Amendment. By finding no historical precedent for disarming marijuana users, the court sent a clear and forceful message. Constitutional rights are not subject to the shifting tides of modern social judgments or political trends. The decision underscores that the government cannot impose restrictions on fundamental rights without a firm grounding in the nation's legal history. The 9-0 vote, which bridged deep ideological divides among the justices, highlights the strength and clarity of the court's legal reasoning. Such unanimity is rare in cases of this magnitude, and it signals a strong commitment to upholding constitutional principles above partisan or political considerations. This decision has already ignited a passionate national conversation, pitting the long-standing federal war on drugs against the explicit protections of the Second Amendment. Across the country, Americans are debating what this means for the future of gun ownership, drug policy, and individual rights. The implications of the Supreme Court's ruling will reach far beyond gun policy. It will reshape the delicate balance between federal authority and state autonomy, affecting millions of Americans, and setting the stage for future legal battles over the limits of government power and the enduring strength of constitutional rights. The Supreme Court's ruling in United States v. Hammani began with a case out of Texas that would soon have national implications. This case would challenge the intersection of federal law, state legalization, and the rights of millions of Americans. The case, officially titled United States v. Hammani, quickly drew attention from legal experts, advocacy groups, and the general public alike. Ali Daniel Hammani, a dual U.S.-Pakistan citizen, found himself at the center of this legal storm after federal agents discovered a Glock pistol and a small amount of marijuana in his home during a routine search. Importantly, Hammani wasn't accused of any violent crime or of distributing drugs. His only alleged offense was personal marijuana use, something that, while legal in many states, remains a federal crime when combined with gun ownership. The central question before the court was deceptively simple. Can the federal government strip someone of their Second Amendment rights solely because they use a substance that's legal in their state but illegal under federal law? This issue is far from theoretical. With over 50 million Americans using marijuana each year, many in states where it's fully legal, the law effectively criminalized a vast group of otherwise law-abiding citizens, putting their rights and freedoms at risk. The judiciary now faced a critical challenge: to reconsider an outdated federal statute in light of evolving social norms, shifting public opinion, and the growing movement towards state-level legalization. Ultimately, Hammani's case became the catalyst for a nationwide legal transformation, forcing courts and lawmakers to confront the complex realities of modern American life and the ongoing debate over individual rights. In the lower courts, the battle lines were clear. The case was a contentious one, drawing significant attention from both legal experts and the general public. The Department of Justice argued that banning gun ownership for drug users was a necessary public safety measure, likening marijuana users to historical drunkards. They emphasized the potential risks, suggesting that drug users could pose a significant threat if allowed to possess firearms. They claimed drug users are too prone to impaired judgment to be trusted with firearms. The argument was built on the premise that substance abuse could lead to unpredictable and dangerous behavior. Hammani's defense countered that the law was overly broad, punishing people for their status, not their actions. They argued that the law unfairly targeted individuals without considering their actual behavior or intent. They argued there's no American tradition of disarming sober, non-violent citizens for lifestyle choices. The defense highlighted the importance of individual rights and freedoms, suggesting that the law was an overreach. The Fifth Circuit agreed, finding no historical precedent for such a ban. The court's decision was seen as a victory for civil liberties, emphasizing the need for laws to be rooted in historical context. Other circuits disagreed, creating a legal split and prompting Supreme Court review. This division among the courts underscored the complexity and significance of the issue at hand. The government's appeal set the stage for a definitive answer. The case was now in the hands of the highest court, with the potential to set a landmark precedent. The Supreme Court's ruling has now settled the matter for the entire country. The decision will have lasting implications, shaping the future of gun control and individual rights in America. The Hammani decision is rooted in recent Supreme Court precedents. In 2022, New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin established that gun laws must align with historical tradition. The court found no evidence that early America disarmed people simply for using substances like alcohol or drugs. While laws existed against carrying guns while intoxicated, there was no blanket ban for sober users. United States v. Rahimi, decided in 2023, upheld temporary bans for those proven dangerous, like domestic abusers. The contrast was clear: targeted, temporary bans are constitutional; broad, indefinite bans are not. The court combined Bruin's historical test with Rahimi's focus on actual danger. The federal ban on marijuana users failed both tests. This led directly to the court's unified decision. The ruling ends years of conflict between state and federal marijuana laws. While the federal government still classifies marijuana as a Schedule I drug, most states have legalized it for medical or recreational use. Millions of Americans were caught in a legal trap, following state law, but risking federal felony charges for gun ownership. The federal background check system forced buyers to choose between honesty and their rights. The Supreme Court's decision resolves this conflict, affirming that constitutional rights cannot be overridden by outdated federal drug policy. It does not legalize marijuana federally, but it removes the government's power to disarm users based solely on their status. The decision has immediate, real-world effects. Veterans, patients, and millions of responsible adults who use marijuana legally in their states can now own firearms without fear of federal prosecution. The ruling will likely lead to reviews of past convictions and redirect law enforcement resources toward genuine threats. It also fixes a broken background check system that punished honesty and did little to stop criminals. By striking down the ban, the court ensures the right to bear arms is not contingent on compliance with outdated drug laws. The decision brings the law in line with modern American society. It removes a layer of fear and hypocrisy from the gun purchasing process. The rights of millions are now protected from arbitrary federal overreach. The Department of Justice's approach in Hammani's case drew criticism. Instead of focusing on the legal issue, the DOJ highlighted Hammani's dual citizenship and foreign travel, attempting to cast him as suspicious. These details were irrelevant to the charge of gun possession while using marijuana. Civil liberties groups accused the DOJ of trying to sway the courts with unrelated allegations. The Supreme Court ignored these tactics, focusing solely on the constitutional question. The unanimous decision affirmed that legal arguments, not character attacks, should decide fundamental rights. The court's focus on principle over prejudice is a powerful statement for the rule of law. The 9-0 ruling in United States v. Hammani marks a new era in American gun rights. The federal government must now amend its background check process and enforcement priorities. The decision sets a precedent for challenging other broad gun restrictions lacking historical support. Not all gun control is invalid. Laws targeting proven threats or violent felons remain secure. The future of gun regulation will depend on careful, case-by-case historical analysis. The court has redrawn the boundaries of the Second Amendment, affirming that rights cannot be denied based on lifestyle choices without historical justification. This ruling champions individual liberty and demands that government regulations be rooted in history, not just public safety arguments. The conversation about gun rights in America has been fundamentally transformed.